Chris was at his wife's office Christmas party. She worked as a legal secretary. He felt out of place. Everyone was very, very expensive. Everyone was dressed to the hilt except him. He was wearing blue jeans, nice shoes, a light blue shirt, tie, and a blue blazer. All the lawyers were wearing $1,000 suits. The women all had little black dresses. It was like a dress code. His wife tried to talk him out of attending. At first, she said only employees would be there, but one of her friends asked him if he would go. A big discussion ensued. He was accosted by some young guy he didn't know for a drink. It was something he doesn't do. He was a borderline alcoholic when he was younger. He didn't drink anymore. He had been clean and sober for 20 years. The young man seemed determined to get him to drink. He refused 5 times. His dear wife, whom he hadn't seen in a long time, was dressed in a low-cut little black dress. She was dressed to kill or perhaps to hunt. She had very large breasts. She had a perfect hourglass figure and a great fat ass. She was so beautiful. Men and even some women were watching her ass as she walked. She had beautiful, dirty blonde hair and stunning blue eyes. She was simply stunning. It really bothered him that things were so bad between them. She didn't fail to flirt right in front of him. He was almost ready. She had won. He was getting ready to leave after the holidays. His heart was hurting a lot. He was very depressed. He knew it was only a matter of time. He had all the evidence he had gotten from the private investigator. He was going to apply right after the holidays. He didn't want to ruin his children's Christmas. He wondered if she knew he knew. It didn't matter. Christmas is going to suck, he thought. He walked around. The same guy was trying his best to keep him away from a certain office, so he knew. The guy put his arm around his shoulders. He kept trying to get Chris into a bar at the other end of the open concept main office. Chris was in the Marines. He'd had enough. He'd had enough. He twisted the guy's arm and said, "Okay, what office is she in?" The guy looked surprised. Chris said, "If I keep this up, I'm going to twist your arm. If you don't tell me where she is, you're going to the hospital." Chris was serious. "And you're going to jail," said the cocky lawyer. "Wrong answer." Chris pushed even harder. All right. She's in that office over there," said Mr. Cokie. "If she's not in there, things are going to go very badly for you," said Chris. He tried the door. It was locked. "Open it," said Chris to him. "I don't have a key," lied the cocky guy. "Then I'll have to use your face to open it, won't I?" Chris was about to do just that when suddenly a pretty receptionist walked up to him and quietly opened the door. "Thank you, miss. You just saved his face. Perhaps you'd like to call security," said Chris politely. She was very nice. She hurriedly did so. No, don't call security, no!" The cocky guy was beyond excited. He chased the receptionist down the hallway. Chris pulled out his cell phone and went into video recording mode. He quietly walked in and saw his soon-to-be ex-wife lying on her back and some guy sleeping with her. He was big and bald. There was another door off to the side into another living room. "Hey, hurry up, Johnson. There are 3 more guys waiting after me." Chris kicked him hard in the balls. He knocked out the other guy. He dialed 911. "My wife has been drugged and raped." He gave the address. She was drunk, but they probably drugged her for date rape. She was incoherent. The other 3 guys were sitting there in their underwear. Now he had a fire axe. Now he was furious. "You guys just decided it was time to fuck my wife, didn't you?" He looked ready to kill them. "We didn't know she was your wife. Arnie told us she was a call girl. We had to lay out 2 bills each to get in with her." "Cowards," #1 said. He looked around. He found a pill bottle. It had a name written on it. He called ABC, CNN, and CBS. Then he got a call. "Mr. Kelly? Mr. Chris Kelly? This is John DePaul. I'm a senior partner at the firm. Can we talk?" "Sure, but CNN is on the other line. Speak quickly." Chris spoke quickly. He put his wife's cell phone on speaker. "So, John, trying to save your firm? Make things a little better?" asked Chris. "What happened?" asked John. "Your young legal team has decided to screw my dear wife. I'm deciding whether to kill them or go on national television discussing sex in the workplace. I'm leaning toward television. It's not as bloody. Of course, it doesn't bode well for you." Chris was still thinking about the murder. "I may have a more pleasant alternative for you. I have a fire axe in my hand. What alternative do you have in mind? Chris spoke quickly. How about $1 million? Come on. You're personally worth well over $500 million. What's your company worth? $2 billion? That's chump change for someone like you. Please don't insult me. Don't forget, I have practically nothing to lose, okay? I bet you've given 100 times that much to charity. That's actually correct. How about this? $10 million to make it all go away. He knew exactly how to haggle. I have an idea. It will benefit your company. You'll look like a prince among the people and you can avoid paying taxes. What do you say? How the hell? He said. Here's my idea, but we must keep it secret among ourselves. He outlined his unusual plan. Boy, that's just brilliant. But won't it make you look bad? Well, I can cry all the way to the bank. I could go on television and say I can't say anything because of your generous arrangement. All the people will remember that you cleaned out the house. Wall Street will call you a genius, turning lemons into dollars. Hell, I'll probably buy some of your stock. You want to do that? Remember, like a magician, it's all out in the open, okay? Chris, I think you should become a doctor. Would you like to work for me? No, I can't. Conflict of interest. I appreciate you saying that, though. The news hounds and the police were given the bare facts. When asked for a statement, Chris said he had to talk to his wife. He said he was trying to keep an open mind. The next day, things took a turn for the worse. Police said a case could be filed for false imprisonment. The district attorney said it could be rape. The newspaperman smelled blood. But strangely enough, the guy who started it all stated that he had serious doubts. The district attorney convened a grand jury to question witnesses, determine what he said and what she said, and generally sort things out. Chris was scheduled to appear at the hearing when suddenly, for no apparent reason, the DA canceled the case. He stated that the case would remain open, but there was not enough evidence to convict anyone in the room. If additional evidence is obtained, the status may change. The senior partner made an update, stating that he was going to put the house in order and make sure that those who had been wronged were compensated. He was shown handing Chris an envelope, and Chris publicly apologizing for jumping to conclusions about his wife's abuse. Everyone involved was fired, and a new sensitivity program was put in place to prevent this from happening again. One day, his ex-wife disappeared. He didn't see her for a week. When he did see her, she simply refused to answer questions. Their marriage was over anyway. Chris did talk to John via video link. He wanted to thank him for the $10 million. John remarked how beautiful his wife was, who appeared completely naked in the footage, her nipples swollen with obvious passion. I realize now, I basically sold you to him, said Chris. No, Chris, you can't sell something you don't own. You haven't owned me for years. Yes, I realize that now. One question, the boys. Are they mine or his? And one last question. Did you ever love me at all? Was it all a huge lie? Chris's eyes brimmed with tears. Why would you waste my life and your own on someone you clearly don't love? He saw his entire marriage in a new light. Where do you want the divorce papers sent? Give me an address or an attorney's office to draw them up. Chris wanted it to be over. Sign the ones I left for you in the kitchen on the table. You'll like them better. Just sign them and send them to the lawyers. Goodbye, Chris. She avoided his gaze. Goodbye, slut, said Chris under his breath. I'm a whore, his slut. And she jabbed her thumb in John's direction. She smiled. Epilogue. The divorce papers she handed him were a Christmas present of sorts. She had taken absolutely nothing from the marriage. John bought her all new things. After all, he was a billionaire. In the letter, he asked her again why she did what she did. 20-plus years of cheating had simply destroyed him. Did she love him at all, at any time, ever? Chris broke down completely after writing the letter. The doorbell rang for the third time. Opening it, he was completely surprised. Standing in front of him was John's wife. What are you doing here?